You have to remember this, okay?
That when people have a stronger brand online, it's not the only reason for success in their business, but it helps like so much.
So the question is, how do I increase people's engagement rate and how do I increase watch time? The formula for engagement is, the secret to success on social media is simple.
What's going on, everybody? Nick Sakha here, and I'm here with one of my very first guests in our new podcast studio. I'm excited to have my good friend, Mr. Vanas, with me. If you guys don't know Dylan is the founder and CEO of Agency Box, a social media marketing agency. He's written publications for entrepreneur.com, Yahoo, and Fox. He's an expert on building and monetizing with social media. He's the strategist behind some of the most influential internet personalities in the business world. But even deeper than all that formal stuff, Dylan has just been a solid dude since I've gotten to know him. It's just been just a few months. We've got some similar friends here in Las Vegas, and I'm honored to have you as one of my very first guests.
Dude, thanks for having me, bro. It's the office, my first time here in the office.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how we've met briefly in person one time.
Yep.
Right? We run in a lot of the similar circles, but we've had like probably half dozen calls or maybe even more. And you're like, what's up, dude? Good to see you. I'm like, good to meet you. I'm like, dude, I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird how that happens.
That's what social media does, man. But no, I've got to see you at kind of at an event. You had Agency Box there. I remember you were sponsoring it, and you've been good, man. I mean, just I had some questions regarding social media, and you took your time with me, as I was trying to figure out my way in, not my way with like, because I have my insurance agency, but just with helping me with social media and branding and things like that. So I appreciate you, man. I think you're solid as a testament of the kind of dude that you are, man. So we rock on the same frequency. I dig that. So the first question I have for you, Dylan, is how, and this will kind of talk into your story, I'm sure.
Sure.
How did you go from wantrepreneur to entrepreneur, as you call it?
Yeah. So I think that when I was 16, I went to this leadership program called LEAP. Stands for Leadership Excellence Accelerating Potential. Basically, their whole pitch is like, we give you a 7-year leap on success. So if you're like someone that wants to be successful, it takes 7 years to kind of figure it out. So when I went there when I was 16, my dad was like, hey, I'm shipping you off. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I'm shipping you off from here to California for a week. And I was like, heck yeah, parties, hot girls.
How old are you?
I'm like 10th grade, 11th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, 10th grade. And so at the time, I'm like, I'm stoked. I find out that they'd sponsored Miss Teen USA. So every single state was sending their like number one babe here to learn. They got a scholarship to learn like these success principles. So yeah, dude, I'm like, heck yeah, this is amazing. The hottest girls from every state in the nation are coming here. I get there the first day. They're like, all right, so wake up at 6 a.m., bedtime at 9. We have this big curriculum to take you through. So anyways, flash forward through that week. There was zero, I don't know what you'd call it, finagling around with anyone. There was nothing that I did, nothing I heard of. And it was all just down to business. And really what they teach you is the things you need to succeed that's not taught in school. So I went from basically selling drugs. Like I was literally, a lot of entrepreneurs have this story where I was like selling like pot, like, to people in high school and stuff, to learning about this thing called a core value and like building, like setting goals and public speaking and time management as like a 16-year-old. So from that moment, I was like, I want to do something big with my life. I come from a family of dentists. My dad's a dentist. His dad's a dentist. And so my whole life, I was groomed with the golden handcuffs of taking over this family business. And I knew I didn't want to do that. So that basically put me on a spiral of doing anything and everything, reading the books, studying from the greats, meditating, like you name journaling, you name a little personal development hack. I started when I was like 16 going through these things. And it took me a few years to figure out my first thing. And then, you go through, I think in business, a few different tries. And finally I got lucky with social media.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the, I guess, 10 years in 2 minutes.
Yeah. And how did you find social media?
Dude, so
I mean, I guess social media found all of us. I mean, but how did you?
So I don't know if you know this. I had probably one of the weirdest businesses you ever heard of that I was running. And in fact, this is a business that I was probably the only person in all of Canada. In fact, I know I was the only person in Canada that had ever done that business. And to this date has ever done that business. Not a single person in the Canada has ever done this business since I did it. A handful of people here in the US have. I made over $1 million in my first year and a half doing it. And it was the craziest thing. You know what I'm going to tell you? Or I don't know if
I think so.
I was selling flying rats.
Yeah. The flying squirrels.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, dude,
I've only seen them like in movies and in cartoons. So like to hear you say that you actually flip them, is like pretty crazy.
Dude, so it's crazy. Yeah. I've infinite stories about it. It was the craziest time. I learned more in the first 6 months of doing that than I did in 3 years of business school. I dropped out of college my 4th year.
You didn't finish?
No. Well, dude, I finished. I'm finished with it. I didn't graduate, but I'm finished with it. No, the thing is that business was nuts. So long story short, I'd buy these pets from these like breeders. They're called a sugar glider. They're effectively a flying squirrel. I'd pay this breeder for them. I'd take them, and then we'd take them to like trade shows and conventions. We'd set up a booth and educate people about them. I'd have a couple like my personal ones to show, and then people would adopt them. I ended up having like 3 different teams that would be in different cities every week going to these different events. So that was my first lesson in business. I learned how to sell not just one-to-one, but one-to-many. In some cases, some events, I'd literally have, I kid you not, 200 or 300 people standing around me at one time watching me hold up this flying squirrel, put it on a customer's or a patron's hand, and go, open my pocket up. It would jump 20 or 30 feet right into the pocket. And I have videos of this too that I can show you. So
how much do these things cost?
Too much for your kids, your future kids. No, dude, they were like $700. So it's basically like dog or this, right?
Yeah.
People would, that's kind of the comparison that people would make. They're affectionate. People love them when you train them the right way. Long term wasn't for me. I'm not the traveling squirrel salesman.
Right.
So
I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's cooler than anything I've ever done, though.
So
I delivered pizzas. I don't care. Nobody wants to talk about delivering pizzas.
You sell insurance,
right? It's still not that sexy,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're saving lives, one day at a time.
So dude, your track record at 19 is sexier than anything I've ever done.
And at the time, I had a 6-pack, so it's physically sexy too. But dude, so how did I find social media? I was making good money, but I was sitting in a Motel 6 one night, and dude, I'm laying down, and I feel this tickle on my leg, and I look down, and I go, what the fuck is that? And it's a cockroach crawling in like on the bed sheet. So I kick it up. I kick it straight off the bed, because if I kick it sideways, it's going to the guy who's sleeping next to me, and now we're playing volleyball with a cockroach.
Yeah.
So I kick it straight off the bed, and I just like, what am I doing with my life? I'm traveling, I'm making good money, but I have no life. I'm in a different city every week. And I'm like, what the heck do I do? So I kind of for the next couple months was like, I got to find a way out. And I think a lot of people are in this place. So anyways, I kind of just deciding, let me give this social media thing a shot. And that's how it started.
Okay. And then it started with, because, for context, tell everyone where you're at right now with Agency Box. I know that you essentially, you've built your agency in such a way now that you're helping a lot of other people build theirs. So what is it now?
So yeah, I'll tell you from a high level, right? So I have a few different companies. I run a company called Agency Box. It's a marketing. So I have my own marketing agency. It's called Mindful Agency. We work primarily with people, and we help turn someone into like a thought leader, or we make them blow up online. That's what we do. I've made tens of millions of dollars in my own agency. And so eventually people were like, Dylan, can you help show me how I can build an agency? And I didn't want to be a guru and sell a course. So I made a software that helps people build agencies. And that was it. So the software is called Agency Box. We also build apps for people now through my own agency. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm in the market. I'm deeply entrenched in the marketing world. We worked with some of the largest personalities and brands you name. Many of these people, they're famous. You know them, right? They're household names. And we developed and created the strategy behind them and launched them.
Yeah. Just looking into you, I can see that you've applied a lot of the things. I mean, you've done a lot of the things, like you're not hard to find online, if that makes sense. Okay. And it got me thinking about all the things that I perhaps need to be doing, with my own brand. So, which
you crush it too, though, in your own realm.
I just put out a lot of stuff, but there needs to be more strategy behind it,
Sure.
So I want to know, because you help so many people with social media, and I believe that when people have a stronger brand online, it's not the only reason for success in their business, but it helps like so much. Like when people, by using this free tool of social media, it makes doing business so much easier through connections, through just referrals, just through everything. Where do you see most people and business owners fail with social media?
Look, I think that the thing is they get caught up in this, all the hype. The algorithm changes and this and that. Like you see it all the time, right? Like people always asking, probably ask you this too, right? Like, oh, what's the latest algorithm? What's the newest trend? People don't realize. And then also people complaining that there's a group on Facebook called the Meta Creators Community. Dude, it's the funniest thing to look at. If anyone ever wants to laugh, go join this group. It's a whole bunch of people that make terrible content complaining that the algorithm isn't pushing their content. And they're like, Instagram algorithm sucks. I just want more views on it. I go look at their profile, and it's like just like the most dated, terrible stuff.
Yeah.
So the thing is the secret to success on social media is simple. You know what it is? Make good content in a high enough frequency to test it over and over again. I got a friend, you might even know him. He's got an Instagram page. It's called Alternative Living Spaces. He makes container homes here in Vegas. And so he had 4,000 followers for 6 months. Then now, in the last 45 days, he's grown from 4,000 to 400,000.
Jeez.
Yes. What happened? He posted multiple times a day for 6 months, tweaking things over time, seeing and iterating. One video popped off. People saw, oh crap, this is a cool video. Went back and watched a whole bunch of his other videos. Instagram said, oh, people like this guy. And now a lot of his views are getting hundreds of thousands of views.
Wow.
So just make good content. And it's not that hard.
Yeah. I'll tell you something that I think I'm struggling with is just making something that goes viral,
Sure.
And I mean, I think my views and my things are consistent, but nothing that goes viral. And maybe it could perhaps be that I'm in insurance and then it's just so boring that it's just not going to go viral. But I've seen CPAs put out stuff that goes viral. I've seen real estate people put out stuff that goes viral. So how do you put out something that goes viral?
So the formula, look, I'll say from experience, right? I've worked with as a strategist behind some people that have gotten hundreds of millions of views. On my own brand, I've had videos get millions of views. While I'm not a viral sensation, right? Take it for what it is. I've seen it happen. I've created it through other people, and I've created it on a micro scale for myself. Okay, because I hate when people say this is what you do, but they don't have it themselves. So I'll just speak from my experience. I understand that one of the biggest things is that these algorithms want to know is they would just want to know, are people enjoying this content? Mm-hmm. So the indicators of people enjoying content is watch time and engagement time, right? It's really simple. So the question is, how do I increase people's engagement rate and how do I increase watch time? The formula for engagement is controversy. The more controversial a post, the more engagement it'll get, hands down. You look at anything Trump, Biden, this, that, it's got the most engagement. You can't be on the fence, huh? You cannot. Anyone who's on the fence, like,
you gotta pick a side.
Switzerland and Canadians, people don't like them, or people don't care. They don't listen.
Yeah.
But America's pretty, if you look at the national scale, the countries that are polarizing, United States, Russia, China, and they get a lot of attention, right?
The country's talking about Poland.
No one's talking about Poland. Exactly. But your content on Instagram right now is Poland. I'm sorry. So that being said, that's that controversy. The second thing, which is watch time, Mr. Poland over here. How do you increase watch time? You just hook people in. You give them a reason to stick to the end. So the best ways to do that is here's the 10 things, here's the 3 things. As you stick me to the end, wait till the end. You want to give them something that they're waiting for. In copywriting, which is something in marketing, it's something most marketers should study. It's just a thing called open loop, where you kind of open something and you say, I'll give you an example. I was doing a presentation today. I have an image I show on the screen. It's a Venn diagram. Like those 3 circles. I said, everyone, guys, take a look at this Venn diagram. This is the most important thing of the entire training today. If you take nothing else out of this, you have to remember this, okay? Take a look at the, all 3 sections and memorize this, because we're going to come back to this towards the end, and you need to remember exactly what this means to you. All right, next slide. I didn't give them anything. I just told them they have to stick to the end to know what it is. And if you can do that on a short scale with a 45-second clip, you will blow up very fast.
Yeah. I know the hook part's important. And the frequency part is important. You just gotta stick to it. Just kind of make it a process. What, in a nutshell, what advice do you give business owners or people that want to, grow and monetize on social media? In a nutshell, what advice do you give business owners that want to gain more influence on social media?
If you're an insurance agent, specifically in Las Vegas, no, I'm just kidding. So narrow. No, so here's the thing. If you want to grow online, you do need to make good content and all that stuff. But it's becoming increasingly hard to grow online. So one of the simple things to do is collaborations, right? You can do, you and I, when these videos go out at some point, you'll post it, and then the best thing to do is you just add me as a collaborator. It shows up on both of our pages. Literally, both of our followers see each other. You'll gain, we'll both exchange, many followers to each other's pages.
Right.
Fantastic way to grow. So I think that's a big part of it. And then also just showing up and adding value. Alex Hermosi did a phenomenal job of this. He showed up and he just said, look, I have nothing to sell you. Well, now he's got something to sell you.
Right.
At the time, he had nothing to sell you. It was just such an amazing spin on things because every other business guru was trying to pimp out their course.
Right.
So you do what everyone else does, you'll get what everyone else got, which isn't a lot. So if you want to create value and grow online, you got to do something different. And so you got to find your lane. But at the same time, copy what's working too. There's a formula.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever get tired of social media? You're just like, man, I hate being on this thing,
Look at how you feel as a consumer of social media. I bet if on a weekend you ever, I don't know you, but dude, there's been times in my life where I've spent, half of a Saturday morning or Sunday, I wake up, my phone's next to me, I'm scrolling social media. You feel like crap that day. Social media does not make consumers feel good. It's actually designed to do the opposite. Suck you in, consume, blah, blah, blah. You're consuming. If you're creating content, it's always going to be beneficial to you. So lesson number 1, this is the biggest thing that will change anyone's life watching this. If you're someone who uses social media or doesn't use social media a lot, this one thing will change your entire life, which is just leave your phone in a different room at night. This is my new rule for myself. I've been doing it for about a year and a half now. My phone charges in it's like a 20-second walk from my bedroom. I literally can't even, I have to go through 3 doors to get to where my phone's at.
I like it.
And that way, my phone doesn't get touched until after I've meditated, after I've journaled, after I've spent some time with my family, and that's it. And so as a consumer, you should be conscious of how social media affects you.
Yeah. All right. I want to give somebody something tangible. This could be something as simple as just changing their profile pic or adding their product or their what they provide, how they help people, right? On their bio. But what are 3 tangible actions that someone can take right now to improve their brand or business?
So the social media it's 3-pronged. I look at it like a pyramid. On the bottom is what I call social proof or authority. You need a baseline level of social proof for people to care about you. So if you have 1,000 followers, that's not enough. You need to grow your following. And I would probably encourage people to look at ways to do that even through incentivized methods, where it's not fully organic. For you to go from 0 to 10,000 fully organic will take you a very long time. But you can go from 0 to 10,000, use some paid strategies to get that, and then you grow organically from there. If you look at someone, they got 200 followers, you're not going to follow them. You probably think it's a fake account, actually. Yeah. So that's one thing. On the bottom, you need social proof. You need a website. You need online. You need articles about you. You need people to be able to Google you and see that you exist across all of the internet and social media. Second prong level is you need to know exactly what are you talking about. What's your core mission, right? The most successful people online, you can pretty much speak exactly who you are and what the content's about. So back to Alex Hermosi, the guy wears a freaking nose strip, acquisition.com hat, Crocs, and a tank flannel, a tank top with flannel, and he's jacked. And he's got a beard. Alex Hermosi is probably the most genius marketer of the last 5 or 10 years when it comes to social media. He branded himself. He and by no means is that an accent. Everything he created about himself, he was probably sitting there one day thinking, if I was on social media, who's the person I would see that would stand out? And he created it. He's wearing a nose strip, whether he needs it or not. Yep. It's amazing.
I think when he started his career too, he wore this obnoxious mustache.
Oh, did he shave the mustache? No, he's got the full beard now.
He has a full beard now.
I remember the mustache. And there was a white tank top. There's an iconic photo of him.
Yep. It was just an obnoxious mustache. Sometimes it's like, what do I got to do? Go bald or, I don't know, just pink hair, But.
Yeah. So that's the second thing is like, what is that for you? What's your brand? And then the final thing is the pinnacle, which is building that audience. It's very hard to build an organic audience. So you need to hack into other people's audiences through partnerships, collaborations, getting on stages, getting on podcasts. So those are the tangibles. You got to build the proof. You got to, develop that brand. Hopefully that's tangible enough. And then do collaborations and partnerships.
Yeah. I think just by having a podcast, it kind of opens that up, opens up just especially locally. Like if you just want to grow locally, which should directly impact your business, depending on what it is, more brick and mortar, maybe insurance agents, where you're meeting up with the local real estate agent or the local CPA or, mom and pop shop.
Mm-hmm.
You're collaborating in that way. And I think that could be huge. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. What is...
By the way, whose office was this? This person got fired, didn't they?
No. This is the one office that wasn't built out. Everything else this was here. When I first moved into this office 6-7 months ago, this is the one space that just sat here. The barn door, everything. So...
Oh, there's a barn door here.
Yeah,
cool.
right behind that. So...
Sorry to go sidetrack.
Nobody got fired. Nobody got fired to be in here. Nah. So tell our audience about Origin Podcast Studio and why you created it.
I think that the best thing that to do is like to sit down with someone, have conversations. For you and I, we had to carve out a podcast time for us to hang out.
It's our first time hanging out.
Yeah, we're not going to go grab lunch. Like, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but we don't just go grab lunch. Like, and that's the thing with most busy people. So if you want to connect with high level people, just create a podcast. Yeah. But what's better than podcasts? What if you have a studio where you can have 3 high level people at one time in my 3 different sets, which I have in the future. If we can pack this out and make it crush, I gotta do a basement in this building. It's so sick. I already have 2 studios built out in there. We'll make it like the sickest studio. It'll be a whole creator hub. But I gotta pack this one out first, make it make sense, and expand. But yeah, dude, it's just to have cool people around and be able to have interviews and make a space for people to come. And
not everybody has 20-30 grand to build out a podcast studio.
Yeah, or a spot like this probably way more than that.
I just dropped a video on it. Check it out.
Oh, did you say how much you spent?
They're like about 30K.
Okay, nice. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Not everybody has 30 grand,
So yeah, and for us, we're coming in. It's the idea is like super premium podcast, but like a realistic price. $1,000 a month. You can come in and shoot a podcast every week. Lead with a fully edited podcast.
You guys are going to do the editing and everything.
Yeah. We do live editing. So there's a guy, manning it. And so you literally leave with an uploaded file to Google Drive for $1,000 a month, 4 episodes a month.
Wow. You guys will, so one for YouTube, and then will you chop it up, make reels out of it?
Yeah.
Too?
So then there's, for a little bit more money, you will actually like do all the editing, all the shorts, even, manage it. We'll also take your podcast and upload it to like Apple and iTunes podcast and Spotify and everything. So for like, $500 more. So, for under $2,000 a month, you're getting like literally a full service podcast. If you had a studio like this, even for someone who has the capital to invest into this took you a crap load of time, crap load of money. Like, dude, had you not done this for $2,000 a month, dude, for, 18 months, you could have ran it for the same cost with way less headaches.
You could have launched my podcast career.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good perspective, especially for like the busy entrepreneurs, that just kind of need that roadmap. So that's awesome, man. I'm excited to come check it out.
Yeah.
Be a guest on yours. That'd be dope. I'm really excited. So Las Vegas, Nevada, if you guys, shameless plug, if you guys are in Las Vegas, you guys want to check out Dylan, check out his podcast studio.
Thanks, bro.
Bring a guest, and I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, you can rent, but you don't have to pay monthly. You can rent, by the hour, and just like the cheap hotels, you can, cheap hotels on the strip, you can pay by the hour.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully there's no cockroaches.
Yeah, hopefully no cockroaches.
crawling up the podcast table. Okay, I want to ask you, I guess got 2 more questions for you. What do you wish more people knew about you?
About me? Oh, dude, that's such an interesting question. I haven't been stumped on the question in a long time. I think one thing that I really care about people. I love people. Like, I'm definitely an extrovert. And so for me, it's like, I just, I wish I could be like with everyone all the time. Like, if I could hug the whole world at once, I would. Like, I think it'd be cool I wish more people were aware of that aspect of me. And I just love it. My clients too. I will serve them to the end of the world. Like, if you get on my calendar, I'm going to give you my time. And that's the thing, is like to a fault sometimes, but I just love serving people.
Yeah. I picked that up about you, just in the few interactions that we've had. And I'm a vibe reader, Like I like to, I like being around people that I feel that care, that's not just a transaction.
Sure.
And I think I get a lot of those vibes sometimes from people, and it's like a radar of like, yeah, I don't want to rock with that person, or
We're lucky in Vegas. There isn't a lot of that, but in like California, LA, everyone has everyone has that agenda, right? So for us, most people have. A lot of people here don't have agendas.
Pretty chill out here. Yeah, I have a friend that just went from Vegas to Miami. And now she's talking about moving back to Vegas, and she's like, everyone's just so materialistic out there, and it's like furs and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I've never lived in Miami, but I did get that very vibrant energy out there, like money out there, and everything is like had a surcharge. Like you go to a restaurant, it's like, what is this? Like,
it's the ice in your water surcharge. You wanted ice, Miami. I think Miami might be on the horizon for me. I think, or Florida, Florida. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I don't have that. I don't have a network out there yet, so I'd love to go do a couple years there and build a network. Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't think I'm Florida. Like, dude, I dress super simple. Like, if I move there, I'd have to get a stylist.
Oh yeah, get suited and booted again.
Yeah, trade in my, my blacked out, very expensive car for a bright orange, very expensive car,
Yeah, stand out, But I'm definitely with you on Florida. Someday, I don't know, I see myself being there. I just like tropical. I don't know, I just like surfing. I see myself surfing at some point. Okay. So yeah,
you got the lakes over here.
Yeah. Just joking. Yeah, get a lake me, get a boat for Lake Me, get the you create your own surfing. My last question for you, Dylan, is, before I do, just want to acknowledge you. Thank you for being my first guest.
Dude, yeah, 100%.
Getting to know you. It's funny that you put that in perspective, that this is our first time hanging out.
And it's an honor. Thank you for having me as your first guest.
Yeah, no, just to acknowledge you since I've known you, you've been solid to me. And, I just really appreciate you. And I'm rooting for you. So anything you got going on and however I can support you, I will. My last question is, what are 3 standards or principles that you live your life by?
Yeah, so my like top 3 core values are, they kind of alternate between growth and freedom are my top 2, but they do flip flop from time in life. So, because sometimes when I'm growing a lot, like I've been in a growth phase the last year, I want more freedom. I want my freedom back. So now it's like freedom is kind of, those are my overarching. Like I got into business originally for time freedom, money freedom, and all that stuff. And so those are, yeah. And then growth is, I'm always pursuing being the best version of myself. And then the third one is basically integrity. So like, doing what you say you're going to do and show up for people. So, when I look at my life philosophy, those are kind of like my 3. I have a long list of core values, but those are at the top of the board.
Man, I'm smiling at the first 2 because golly, I've never thought of it that way, but I'm exactly the same way. I want growth, but after the growth phase, it's stressful. I just want more freedom. I just want to chill and not do nothing, and travel. But then too much like, too much
of that, you
not growing. It's just like, I'm ready to grow, It's like a psychopath. I got to create more chaos in my life, and then I got to calm it down. And golly, I'm just laughing because feel like that was me. Awesome, man. And then the last one, integrity. Got to do the right thing and be a man of your word or a woman of your word. So Dylan, thank you so much. How can my audience find you on all the social media? I mean, you're not hard to find, but how can I do?
On Tinder, and I'm
sure. Right.
So it's best to reach me on is Instagram. It goes through me directly. I see everything on Instagram, unless it goes in the little spam folder, which I check, every now and then. But everything else gets filtered. So if you want to talk to me directly, at Dylan Vanas, DYLAN, V as in Victor, ANAS, or just Google my name and my companies are there. If we, need help blowing your brand up, happy to support you, or just you need a friend, shoot me a message.
Well, bro, I appreciate you, man.
Dude,
Thank
thanks
you.
for having me.
Yes, sir.